Hello and welcome to StudyIQ. I am Prashant Mavani. I hope you are doing good, my dear friends. Today is Saturday, 22nd September, and this PIB will be delivered to you on Monday morning or afternoon, depends on the schedule of Monday. But you don't get PIBs on Sundays, so keep this thing in mind that we are not running behind, or we are not, this is not a backlog. We are up to date with PIBs. Now, with this, dear friends, on your screen you can see an infographic, and this infographic is about this Great Pacific Garbage Patch. How big it is, see here, this is USA, and on the western coast of USA, if we head towards Pacific Ocean, then we find this, this big chunk, and then it gets lighter and lighter. So this whole area, can you believe, is 1.6 million square kilometers big. And most of the items, 99% of everything that you find here is plastic. Most of the item, 50%, nearly 50% items are this discarded fishing gear. So it's a matter of concern, and how we find, or why we find this big chunk of plastic here is just a small example of Pacific Ocean. You find this sort of things in parts of Indian Ocean, you find it in Atlantic Ocean, you find it everywhere, right? Plastic is basically everywhere. Even in this this bottled water that we buy, we pay premium money for this 20-25 rupee for a liter of water, and in that as well you find microplastics. So plastic is everywhere, and you can see here that 95% of plastic polluting the world's ocean comes from these 10 rivers. You have Yangtze of China, you have Indus, and you have Ganges as well. So it's a matter of concern. Now, so far we have generated 8.3 billion tons of plastic in last 70 years. So you can say that we are living in a plastic world, because out of this 8.3 billion tons, only or less than 10% of plastic has been recycled by us. So you find plastic everywhere, isn't it? So it's very right to say that we are living in a plastic world. Now, as far as our country, India, is concerned, right, we generate 15,000 tons of plastic every single day. I'm talking about, when I say plastic, I'm talking about plastic waste. We generate 15,000 tons of plastic waste every single day, and after this 15,000 ton, just nearly about 50%, or 7,000 to 9,000 tons of plastic is recycled by us. So you can again understand that it's not something that is good, or the figures that we are going through, they are very bad figures, of course. Now, a very interesting step has been taken by Government of India back in 2015, and this step or this particular rule mandates, it is mandatory that if you are constructing a road, then you have to use plastic waste for the construction of the road. Now, we have this thing called bitumen, and bitumen is you can say a leftover of this refinery of crude. So when we refine this crude oil, or this raw product called crude, we are left with we get, of course, we get this gas, we get methane, and we get petrol, diesel, and other things, and then we get this tar or bitumen. And this bitumen, at high temperature, when it is at high temperature, we can mix this shredded waste plastic with it. Now, one thing we have to keep in mind, that it's not that all types of plastics can be mixed up with this bitumen. There are limited, you can say there are a few categories of plastics that can go with it. You have this plastic film type of items. They are basically carry bags and cups, and then you have this hard form and soft form plastics that can be mixed up with it. And then you have this laminated plastics, like items that we use for packaging, for biscuits, and these wrappers of chocolates and chips and other items. These items can be mixed up with this bitumen, so it's a good thing. And there are various cities in our country, like you have Pune, you have Indore, Surat, Chennai. They are the ones they have already started using this plastic bitumen mix for constructing roads within the city area. The most important thing about this plastic road is that they are longer lasting roads, so less maintenance, less you can say infrastructure cost. The other thing is they do not develop cracks and potholes. So that's a very interesting, or you can say, merit of this plastic road, because in our country, out of all the road accidents or road deaths that take place in our country, 1/10 of this road deaths are happening because of potholes. So we will get rid of these potholes so we can save so many lives as well, isn't it? I'm sure you are aware about this thing, that more people die because of potholes than Naxal attacks or terror attacks. So in our country, of course. So that's a matter of concern, and this plastic roads can help us sort out this problem. Now, depending on the quality of tar, it is again very important to understand that it's not that you can have 60% of plastic and only 40% of this tar or bitumen. No, you can have at present the technology allows us to mix somewhere between 10 to 30% of this plastic waste with this bitumen mix. So here you have to work, we have to do research and other things, so that at least we can add, step by step, incrementally we can add more and more quantity of plastic, so that we can get rid of these big mountains and piles of plastic that we have. There are a few municipalities, like a good example is Surat. They are doing R&D, research and development, and they are working on these designs so that they can add more and more plastic waste. We can get rid of this plastic waste by constructing roads, and once you construct roads, you have the other benefits as well, like developmental benefits and things like that. Now there are a few countries like Netherlands is there. They have already started using these prefabricated roads that are made up of the plastic, and there are a few countries they have this whole railway station or railway platforms are made up of plastic. So here we have huge amount of opportunity. The more the nearly 7 to 9,000 tons of plastic, that's the only range or this much quantity of plastic we recycle. So rest of these items can go for this road or plastic or other sort of prefabricated road construction and other things. The other thing is plastic gets more and more plastic will get recycled. Bitumen, which is of course a byproduct of this refinery, so we have to pay, it's expensive of course. So the more we can mix with it, our imports bill will come down as well. And this will also, when you have the smooth roads, of course, your cars and your motorcycles and your trucks and buses, they will give you good mileage too. So reduction in fuel consumption, less emission. And it is very interesting thing to, if we talk about human behavior, if I ask you to collect plastic bottles, then you won't be that motivated. But if you get something, if you get at the end of the month, if you can make 500 rupees out of your plastic waste, if you are segregating it and collecting it in a bin or something. I'm not saying to, to collect it, but what I'm trying to, just a small example, that if we segregate in every, in countries like Korea, South Korea, if you are, in South Korea, they have this, what do we say, this machines, right? Big machines in every society. And if you want to throw your, say for example, rubbish or trash, then you have to, it's like just, automatic machine where you put the weight and you have your barcoded bag, so they know which family or to whom this bag belongs to and things like that. So you are allowed, every day a certain amount of waste only. It's not that here, there is no limit. You can generate 1 ton of waste as well, and no one is going to. There are no bar, you can say, or there is no threshold limit here in our country. So we can, on regular basis, if we are consuming items or wrappers and other things, then we can collect them and you can weight them, and then you can get some points and things, so that at the end of the month you can either get a rebate on your electricity bill or municipality bill and other things. So if we don't create this sort of money making or a little bit of saving, if people are, or particularly Indian housewives, if they are able to see something coming back from this plastic, then of course it will be a big thing. So it's a cultural thing that we have to add here, and I believe if we do this thing, then we can achieve this, more and more. People will, of course, we have to keep a sort of ban as well on plastic, but at the same time, whatever is available should be segregated and it should be recycled. With this, dear friends, moving on to news item, and before moving on to news item, I would like to inform all of you that our pen drive and tablet courses are available for various different exams. tomorrow, that is Sunday, is 23rd September. It's the last date for this pen drive and tablet courses, 50% discount. After that, it will be back to normal price. So if you haven't got it yet, do get it as soon as possible. This is my FB page and Twitter handle from where you can download the PDF of today's discussion. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to launch Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, also known as PMJAY. It's going to be the biggest government funded or the largest government funded healthcare program in the world. It is targeting 50 crore beneficiaries. It's huge, right? It's huge population that we are talking about. It's one of its kind, and it's going to be cashless and paperless. You can use it pan-India, anywhere in India, in any empaneled hospitals, and some 1,350 procedures covering pre and post hospitalization, diagnostics and medicines. Everything is covered under this Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. CEO, that is Ayushman Bharat, CEO of Ayushman Bharat, Indu Bhushan, has said that the most ambitious health insurance scheme that the world has ever seen is this one, and will change the face of the health sector, particularly in our country. And there are 31 states and union territories who have signed up for this scheme. Moving on to another item, it is a small political update, but yet very important message is hidden behind this news item. Basically, a controversy is going on. Opposition parties are saying that this whole Rafale deal, you know, is a sort of example of crony capitalism, and they are saying that we have paid extra for this deal. But government is saying that we have saved some 9% of, you know, during this UPA government's agreement, whatever they have agreed, 9% less money we are paying for this deal. And you have this thing called offset, right? Offset clause. Now, what this offset clause is all about? Offset clause is, you know, when, say for example, this company, Dassault company of France, if we are purchasing 100 rupees worth aeroplanes from, or this fighter jets from France, then they have to, you know, invest at least 50 rupees in India for manufacturing and other, in manufacturing or in other sector. Now this Dassault can, it's a private company, so it can decide with which particular Indian entity it wants to shake its hand with, or become, you know, make its partner in manufacturing. So it's totally up to Dassault. Neither France government nor neither Indian government can say anything about this offset, or whom to choose and whom to drop. This sort of advices and things cannot be, officially speaking, right, cannot be executed by French or Indian government. But opposition parties are saying that they are claiming that government has, you know, recommended Reliance, this Anil Ambani's Reliance, as a defense partner of this Dassault in our country, India. Now, but the thing is, this whole thing started by an interview of former French President François Hollande, and he said that this something has been done by, you know, government of India suggested Reliance name. Anyways, our main focus is not about this political controversy. What we can make out of it is that for a very long period of time we are seeking this sort of a heavy duty, you can say fourth generation or latest aircraft for our, or fighter jets for our Indian Air Force. Indian Air Force has been demanding this thing for a very long period of time now, and what we find is that we are we are wasting our energy in this sort of petty controversies and issues. The final ultimate victim of this whole thing is our defense capabilities. You know, we are going to, if we keep on continue doing this sort of things, if you are, you know, if everything is clean, and then as well if we find that there are few people who will raise this issue. I'm not favoring any political party, I'm not against any political party, let me tell you, right? UPA government, or this, when UPA government was ruling the nation at that point of time, NDA used to do the same thing. At present we have NDA government and UPA is doing the same thing. So they have to understand that this sort of petty politics is not going to help the nation. It's not good. It's not sending a good message as well, or our image is, you know, in front of the world, our reputation, because other defense companies, they will think twice before doing business with our country, because after a couple of years, you know, they will find that they are in trouble because of these allegations. So when it comes to this sort of things, I believe that we should stand as one. Now, Maldives is a country that is our neighbor. It is part of the SAARC group as well. It's a South Asian country, of course, and it's an island, of course, this country. So why it is in news? Because presidential elections are going to take place tomorrow, that is Sunday. And let's hope that we don't find Abdullah Yamin's government, because from Indian perspective, I mean, Abdullah Yamin's government is not tilted towards, or it's not that friendly with our country. Now, GST Council, I have got a small update for you guys. 10th review meeting of group of ministers on GST network was held in Bengaluru, and the head of this GOM is Sushil Kumar Modi, who is Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar. And he has announced that in next 4 to 6 months, GST Council is going to come out with a proper, you can say, return filing, return filing platform, or this particular form that will become a bit more easier, for all those dealers who have to pay GST. He also talked about e-way bill. He said that since its inception back in April 2018, we have so far seen 32.61 crore worth, 30, what is the number? 23.61 crore e-way bills are generated so far. And here you have Iran, right? Sadly, 29 people died in this attack that was conducted during a parade. And here is Iran for you guys. The capital is Tehran. Caspian Sea, you find Persian Gulf, you find Arabian Sea here. And there are other countries with which this Iran is sharing its border with. So once we are done with the video lecture, you can download the PDF and then you can observe this Iran, because you can find a sort of MCQ on this thing. These are your questions. This one is about International Day of Tropics. This one is about USA holds 2+2 dialogue with not just India, but there are 2 other countries as well. Can you give me the name of those 2 countries? And identify the flag. This flag belongs to which country? That's everything in today's discussion. Thank you very much. Enjoy your studies. Jai Hind.